Okay. So here we are. You should be able to see chat here. You should be able to see, the tip jar all the way over there. And you should be able to hear the lovely players with their lovely voices.
Hello.
Excellent.
Hello.
So let's talk.
You did that to yourself, Jeff.
Let's talk characters. So I'm going to be building Meepo right here, right now, in front of everybody, so that you all know exactly what to expect. Meepo, thanks to the wonderful generosity of my viewers, is coming in as a level 2 paladin, as opposed to a level 1 paladin. So we will go over all of those. Let's start with the easy folks who are just updating their characters. So there's a lot of things that you can do in downtime, and there are a lot of rules for those things that you can do. Thankfully, it's actually not that difficult, but one thing I'm allowing for both my new players and for my existing players is not only does treasure sort of transfer from character to character, we just kind of hand wave that, but also in the interim, I'm allowing players, there is a year of time between last module and this module. You have time to train skills, you have time to do research, you have time to make money, you have time to whatever things that you want to do, you've got a year to do that. And I know specifically that learning how to use a new set of tools or a new language is 250 days and 250 gold. So let's start with, let's see, who's keeping their character? Let's start with Jeff again. Tell me a little bit about what changes, if any, you're doing with Calder and what he has been doing in downtime.
Well, I think that the most significant change to his character so far is I have swapped out his purple dice for red ones. So that's the first big change. But the other big change that are probably more mechanically relevant is I have shelled out 250 gold and 250 days worth of investment to learn a new language. Specifically, I'm learning Draconic.
Phenomenal.
Fortunately, I have a pint-sized teacher who has no concept of money. So in addition to paying him, I'm also teaching him how to spend money.
Yes, and Meepo, by the way, is, and again, we're going to be building Meepo in just a bit. Yes, he has been living on the Creed estate, or is it the Cheval estate?
It's the Cheval family, but we've been like hand-waving the name for the family as Creed.
Fair enough.
The idea is that we are the an inheritor and the offshoot of an estate. So that seems to be the way to resolve it.
That makes sense. Now, I'm also giving, and I think we've already talked about this, but I'm also giving those of you who are keeping the same character a chance to rebuild your character in any way that you want. Are you making any actual significant changes beyond magical items, which we'll talk about later?
Beyond the languages and beyond those languages, I don't really have anything in my majority of my items that I would like to change, because everything feels very thematically. I mean, there are definitely ways I could better optimize this build and make it better for me in the long run, but I don't care about that. I much rather stick to my thematic guns.
Excellent.
But I might be, shelling out some of these like scrolls that I have inherited for from the last game that I haven't bothered to sort and get rid of, because there's a number of scrolls that I can't use. So,
Psychanthrope, is Jeff still quiet? I've adjusted my volume, my desktop volume.
Please. If I'm being quiet, I can project more, but there's little I can do on my end.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to just keep. I'll slide the volume up a little bit more as well. Let's talk to the other character who is keeping their character, Jen/Clarion. I'm very interested to talk to you about this, but before we talk about a particular magical item that I'm very interested in finding out more about, let's talk a little bit about whether or not Clarion is making any changes to his stats, his build, his anything.
I'm really not changing anything. I think I'm going to do pretty much the same thing that Jeff is doing and learn Draconic, because I'm good at languages and Meepo.
Yeah, and it means you'll have a common language that most people don't speak.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to do that, because I think that just part of it is going to be his fascination with languages, and part of it is going to be Meepo. I actually need to pick another language, because I never did pick my fourth language, because I never did find the language list. on the
Go
thing.
with-
So you're
go
gonna
with
have to walk
Sylvan.
me through that.
There isn't a
can pull
language
it up.
list. Yeah, there isn't a language list in Fantasy Grounds. You just have to type
That's
it in.
my problem.
Yeah, you just have to type in
I'll pull it
the language you want, and I will do that as well because I'm going to be doing that with Meepo also.
Yeah, so
but
I'm just not sure as to what I wanted to do my fourth language as originally from the first set because I could have 4, and I did.
now the thing that I really wanted to ask you, and the thing that I've asked you to think about, is
Yes.
what is, because Clarion right now is in possession of the most powerful magical item in the group. Far
Yeah.
and away, the Crystal
Yeah,
Whistle, the
which-
Night Collar, which allows you to cast the Raise Dead spell, is extraordinarily powerful. And as a
It's
powerful
probably so not good to be in his possession.
as a powerful necromantic item, I'm curious to know what Clarion's relationship has been with that whistle over the past year. Has he been utilizing it to keep a pair of undead minions with him? Has he been hiding it away? Has he been just showing everybody this awesome crystal whistle that he's got? Tell me a little bit about your relationship with this item.
So it seems that we have come to the idea that at one point he decides that he should have an undead butler, and we decide to raise a skeleton up from one of the old butlers on Calder's family estate, and his name is Jarvis, just another really intelligent skeleton. Yes, I'm aware
Thank you, I'm
of all of
dying.
the morality issues.
Yes.
The problem is that Clarion doesn't think he tries very hard to be moral. He is a good person, but he is also very impulsive. And if you get these people together long enough, especially with all the stuff that was going on, like we had a year of just, so this would have happened when we had visited Calder's estate to see to see Meepo, more than likely. This would have happened after we got completely hammered, I'm certain, because we have already established that we do not have smarts at all when we're drunk. We've already established that with just the regular party of people.
Intelligence is one of my dump stats. Yes.
Yeah.
So what? And I'm gonna let you, Jen, because I like giving players options. Tell me a little bit about how people are responding, because I imagine some rumors have been started up about the necromancer Clarion. I'd be very interested in what kind of rumors do you see going around, and how does Clarion react to them?
Oh God, Clarion is like, no, I'm not. I'm a bard. Look.
And then they
It's not-
gesture helplessly at your undead slave.
But I didn't go to like necromancer school or anything. I went to bard school. He's just, look, there was a thing and another thing, and then there was this whistle, and look, it's just, he's really helpful as a butler.
Okay,
He
necromancer.
already knows how to be a butler. And he doesn't get tired. And we have a baby.
Hey,
Wait, you had a
Just-
baby with a skeleton?
We did not have a baby with the Skelly Man. No, that's impossible. But if you remember what happened during the epilogue, Clarion is the baby daddy to Lore and Hyacinth's baby. So there's the 3 of them in this relationship with this baby, and none of them are okay. Lore might be responsible. I don't really know yet.
well, I don't
But
know. Laura's
I
not joining our.
guarantee you, Em,
Laura's
like
joining
your
our party
character
and not
tried
being
so
a
hard to
parent.
be responsible and failed, and my character didn't try to be responsible and failed. So I
Okay.
don't know why they thought like a baby was a good idea. But
Calder
sure.
will help shield Clarion as best he can by thanking and pointing out that that Clarion did attend a bard at college, is classically trained as a bard, and so we think we definitely thank the necromantic understudies for Clarion's bard college, and essentially shoving the blame for any necromantic teachings onto that college and letting them feel it.
Nice.
Oh
I love
yeah,
it.
because the glamour school is 100% about necromancy.
Okay, so
Let that headmaster wake up one day too. Sorry, we what?
They would start to get really angry letters.
Now, really quick, let's go ahead and Olivia, why don't you tell me just a little bit about the kind of character you're making, and we're going to jump right into building.
Okay, so Charlotte Corbell is a human variant, and her class is wizard with a specialization in abjuration. So I've got a lot of spells to pick. Oh, she's background noble as well. Can't have to keep that train going. So
Excellent.
she's got a lot of spells, a lot of abilities to keep track of.
And M, what are you building?
So Lord Durshard is a elf with the subclass Eladrin, with a significant amount of tweaks, some of which I need to ask questions about. And she is a Hexblade warlock.
Yes, the Hexblade, the ultimate in not at all overpowered nonsense. I love it.
Y'all not even ready for the amount of overpowered nonsense.
Tell me, who or what is your patron?
So my patron is technically the Hexblade. That's how the subclasses work. It's your patron is your subclass. But I'm tweaking it a little bit. So instead of being a mysterious being from the Shadowfell that is totally chill with turning into a sword, it's more along the lines of a kind of creepy fae that maybe spent far too much time in the Shadowfell and is now batshit crazy.
I mean, fae, but yeah. So, building a character. So, friends at home, we are building, I guess all of you are at home now that I think about it, but viewers, we are using Fantasy Grounds Unity, which is this program that you see directly above me. I'm going to, in fact, zoom right on into it. And what we're going to do is, you can't see the whole thing because I cut it a little bit. Here, let me actually make it a little bit smaller so that you can see a little bit better. Because, yeah. One moment. Because I want you to be able to see the whole thing, which means it needs to be a wee bit smaller. There we go. Okay.
Hide those notes. Hide those DM notes.
Yeah. Well, that was just magical items, but yes. So building a character, as you can see, there are on the right side here a whole bunch of menus. Now I've got the character sheet up. I've put in the name Meepo, and most of this stuff is drag and drop. Okay. So the first thing when you're doing Fantasy Grounds, the first thing you want to input before anything else are the stats. All right, put in the attributes, the abilities first. Now, because I have it memorized, I always use the standard array, which is 15, which I'm putting into Dex, 14, which I'm putting into Wisdom, 13, which I'm putting into Constitution, 12, which I'm putting into Strength, 10, which I'm putting into Charisma, and 8, which I'm putting into Intelligence. So that is Meepo. Meepo,
Tough but fair.
Yeah, Meepo is he can see well, he can hear well, he is wise, but he doesn't necessarily always know how to solve the more complex problems. He tends to lean on you all for that. So that seems to be reasonable. And now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to click on the races, which should really say species, but you know, the races tab. And I'm going to go down to Cobalt. And I'm just going to pick it up and I'm going to drag and drop it onto the race tab, which applies Cobalt. Now, Cobalt gives Meepo a few things. It gives him pack tactics, which gives him advantage when he's attacking someone who's close to his ally. It gives him an ability called Beg, Grovel, and Cower, which allows him to grant advantage to all of his allies around him for an action. And it gives him, of course, the ability to speak Draconic and Dark Vision. And you'll notice that it also automatically, if you can see, I know it's really small, it automatically updated his abilities with the new ability scores from the race. Okay, the next thing you want to do is background. And Meepo, his background is now Knight of the Order. He is a young knight. So I drop that onto background, and we are going to give him the nature skill with that. Boom.
He has been knighted, but he has been knighted by the noble warriors of House Creed.
Indeed. So, easy peasy so far, I think. Put in the stats, drag the race over, drag the background over. Now we are going to go to classes. And we are going to grab Paladin.
All right, he's a paladin.
And we're going to pick it up and drop it into class. He gets 2 skills, so I'm going to give him athletics and let's go with medicine. I'm making him kind of a support character, so we're going to do that.
And those skills both apply to someone who's, lived most of his life inside of the Citadel.
Absolutely, yes. Psychanthrope, aren't paladins based on charisma? Oh, you're absolutely right. For some reason, Psychanthrope, I was thinking about, I think it's because I mixed up paladins and clerics. I think you're absolutely right. I'm going to switch the charisma to 14 and the wisdom to 10. Thank you.
I would also argue that
low wisdom characters.
Yes.
I would also argue that Meepo has definitely demonstrated a higher charisma.
Also true.
Because all of us love him to death in absence of all reason.
Absolutely
Now,
also
Meepo
true.
Or it's portrayal.
Okay.
At this point, is there a difference?
Indeed. So he's a level 2 paladin, again, thanks to the level 5 hype train from last game. So we are going to start him off with a second paladin level, which I am dragging on, and it gets him to paladin 2. It automatically puts in average HP and all of that good stuff. So that's the base. That's it. That's all you have to do to make a base character. There's still some more stuff, obviously. We have to go into inventory, and we have to equip him. And we are going to have to give him a couple of spells because he is a paladin. So let's start with equipment. There is an items tab over here. And I am going to start him with a Dungeoneer's pack, which I will grab and I will drag directly into the inventory. And you'll notice, I hope, that it shows all of the items in the pack all settled out there.
Silly question.
Yes, of course.
Because I've been trying to figure this out the whole time. Everybody else has it, but not me. How in the world do you change your portrait to something that you did and not just that dude from...
Olivia, you want to take this?
So you, on your main page in your character sheet, you go up to the upper left corner and you double click on the portrait. It opens up a little folder.
Yep, I did that.
You double click on the little drawstring bag that's there. And this is where you'll see the images. There's a little tiny button that says folder on the top of this little tab. You click that, it'll open up the folder that is on your computer, which is where you need to drag and drop the portraits and art that you want to be able to grab.
Oh, wait, huh? Okay.
Yeah. There.
There's a folder.
Open up the drawstring.
Hold on. Yeah.
And then you can, once it's in that folder, you should be able to simply hit the refresh button, and it should pop up in this.
How do I drag and wait?
So, once you've clicked folder and it opens up a folder outside of Fantasy Grounds on your actual computer, that's where you need to save the files that you want to be your portrait.
That's that right there.
Yes.
That's the location on your computer they need to be saved in order for Fantasy Grounds to access them.
Yes. Okay.
And then notice I've got for folks at home, I have this Meepo blep here that's in the portrait. So I can go to here and I can click on I can click on data and look, there's my Meepo blep right there. So I can click on that, double click it, and boom, now we've got a Meepo head as Meepo's portrait.
And you might have to futz with the scaling, the proportion to get it exactly right, and the little token.
Yeah.
But that's the process of how you do that.
Oh, God, that whole refreshing thing.
Yeah, hitting the refresh button is a key step.
Now I've got him from the glam.
I see it. It's right there up on the screen. Very nice. So a couple of other things that Meepo has. He was given the blade Shatter Spike, a longsword that you got off of Sir Bradford in the Sunless Citadel. He doesn't actually use Shatter Spike as a main weapon. It's a little bit large for him to wield effectively, especially since he's going to be a shield paladin. So we're going to go ahead and give him a short sword, and I'm just going to type in short sword.
It's always good to have a magic weapon on backup, though, in case you're fighting, like, ghosts.
Yeah, anytime there's something that requires a magical weapon, it's going to be absolutely very important. Short
And
sword.
it also has its own magical qualities, which I'm sure will come up at some point.
Yes, its other magical qualities is that it's very good at breaking objects.
Which makes it which will make it an excellent mimic detector.
Yes, yes.
Or a key.
What just happened? I saw a thing. Oh, an anonymous gifter is gifting 5 tier 2 subs? Are you kidding me right now?
Wow.
5 tier 2 subs. That is absolutely
Nice.
absurd. Look at how my cup is not quite running over, but man, we're getting there. Damn. That is, thank you. I appreciate you, Anonymous. You're amazing. And why, hold on, I need to make sure this alert box is all the way up top so that everyone can see it.
As opposed to across her face.
There we go. Boom. Right in the middle of everything. Okay. Wow. 5 tier 2 subs. Jesus. I am so happy. Thank you. Short sword, shield. I'm going to go ahead and again, it's all drag and drop. I'm just dragging it off onto his inventory. What else? He's got a shield. He's got a short sword. He's got his long sword. Armor. Now, Calder was all about helping Meepo learn how to spend money and make money and that sort of thing.
I was being very generous, kind, and patient. My father would be terribly disappointed.
So with your help, I think he'll be able to pick up something like a breastplate.
If I was paying him a gold a day for 250 days to teach me Draconic, then obviously he has at least 250 gold.
Plus,
and that's plus whatever Clarion paid him.
He also has like 300 gold left over from his own share of the Sunless Citadel. So I think breastplate is probably the best one to start with for now.
Like, it's probably custom. It's definitely like we can have whatever access is like customized to fit it to his tiny proportions and shape.
Absolutely.
Started with a halfling mold.
Well, it's a completely different spine, right? Like a kobold is barely bipedal.
And if he is to be a paladin, noble service to the household, he would of course been like given like a proper tabard. It's clean. He was like it looks fucking great. It's stylized and perhaps just a little ostentatious, but Meepo doesn't know better.
No. And Lionar mentions, by the way, that Meepo is forming up to be a witcher with his magic silver sword. Which I agree with entirely. Okay, and
that was the plan.
And then
he can't be treated any
Meepo
worse than the rest of the Witchers.
Started from the bottom, still kind of at the bottom.
And then
what do you mean a monster's a Witcher? It's already a monster.
The very last thing that I'm going to do, or the second to last thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to go down to actions. Now you should note that also a sling. That's right, he uses a sling as well. And I was going to give him a crossbow, but he used the sling to such great effect in the last game that he's keeping it.
He really did, yeah.
It's just a convenient anti-undead tool for skeletons, so it works.
Yeah. So he's going to have so now when I go over to actions, you'll notice that everything I have equipped, I now have an action for, right? It's a +4 attack with Shatter Spike. It's +5 attack with the short sword because it's dex instead of strength, and +5 on the sling. We've got all the damage and everything. We have 2 spell slots, and you get 2 level 1 spells at level 2. So Meepo, I've already chosen his spells. He will be getting Bless as his first spell.
Good.
Again, as a support character, Bless is amazing. And again, I just dragged and dropped it into my actions bar so that now it's there and ready to go. And then the other one was one of the smites, and I don't remember which one.
Are paladins known or prepared casters?
I believe they're known casters.
Yeah.
Okay.
The clerics are the prepare spell.
Searing Strike, that's what it was, because of course flame, right?
Yeah.
So I'm giving him Searing Smite as his second level 1 spell because, Red Dragon Kobold plus fire damage equals excellent theming.
On brand.
Also, it will make him that much more effective when he and Calcrix inevitably have their reunion.
Yes, also true. And Dracarys, you're not wrong. Green Flame Blade is absolutely amazing. I imagine that Laura will be taking it, perhaps, because
It's on the list.
you're right. It is an absolutely spectacular spell. And then the last thing is to just double check everything. So let's take a look. We've got Strength 12, Dex 17, Con 13, Int 8, Wisdom 10, Charisma 14. His armor class is 18, and if you want to double check that, here, let me zoom in a little bit. If you want to double check stuff, there's a little magnifying glass right next to it, which you can barely see if you're watching at home. And that is all the calculations. He's got 10 base armor class, plus 4 for his breastplate armor, plus 2 for his shield, plus 2 for his dex because of the breastplate, and that's that. Speed 30, initiative plus 3, and that, my friends, is a character done and done. And Meepo is now ready for play. So let me ask Olivia and Em, is there anything that you need help with when it comes to finishing up building your character sheet?
Well, I wouldn't mind real quick reading off those languages we were all asking about.
Ah, yes, of course. And in fact, I did not do languages for Meepo, so let's go into abilities. Common, Draconic, and he gets one of his choice. So it might be interesting.
For being a knight.
What language, Calder, would Meepo be most likely to learn while at the Creed estate?
And this is in addition to slightly more properly speak Common.
Yes.
He's most likely to either pick either Infernal or Elvish, depending on his preference.
Hmm.
And there are a bunch of goblins around there now, so maybe
there are a bunch of goblins there too.
Let's do goblin. Let's do goblin. That's a fun one. I like that. I like a kobold that speaks goblin. That I don't know, for some reason that makes me happy.
Well, it's representative that he definitely seemed to have buried the hatchet between with the rest of the goblins
formerly of the Citadel. Yeah. Aw, it's all sweet.
I love it.
Yes.
All right, so for our other people who need languages, there's standard languages and there's exotic languages. So unless a feat or ability tells you otherwise, you have to pick from the standard or, up to DM discretion.
The exotic one, I imagine, is things like Druidic.
So the exotic languages are Abyssal, Celestial, Deep Speech, Draconic, Infernal, Primordial, Sylvan, and Undercommon.
Got it. So you have to, those are ones that your species has to grant you that, yeah?
Or you have to have a very plot-specific reason to know it.
I.e. Meepo.
Yeah. Standard languages are Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, Giant, Gnomish, Goblin, Halfling, and Orc.
Lionar, you're not wrong. Being able to scream at infernals or at fiends in Infernal is a pretty badass thing for a paladin to be able to do.
I think what I'm going to do to take as my other missing one was Orc, because we had our half Orc as part of our party originally.
We did.
And she was one of our friends who was originally part of that whole thing. So I would think that she, that or Infernal. Either Orc or Infernal. Calder, Jeff, how would Calder have taught him Infernal?
If you had asked, yes, absolutely.
Then probably Infernal, because
Okay, yeah. Hydrate.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dracarys, for reminding me.
Infernal.
Yes, that is, by the way, one of our new channel point rewards is every 5 minutes someone can remind us to drink some damn water. So that's on there.
This hydrate is brought to you by Zevia. Please, goddamn, sponsor one of us. And by one of us, I mean me.
Yes. Okay.
It's a running joke on my channel that I do that once a day.
I've been begging LaCroix to try to sponsor me for a while now too, and they're not going to do it.
I haven't even started begging them. I'm hoping to beg them and be like, Look,
They won't. The
nobody else is
cows.
talking about it, so you know.
So
Excellent.
it seems like we did it. Oh, right. No, first off, Gail, I remember specifically you had the feather token, which is the one rare consumable that was given to Echo last time. And I remember you having a very interesting idea of what you wanted to swap that for, and I already said yes, but go ahead and make the request again.
Trying to find out where I put it to remember the exact name of it. It was a potion of some sort. Did I write it down?
It was.
Let me look it up in my DMG real quick.
Etherealness.
Yes.
The potion of
Oil
etherealness.
of etherealness.
Or oil
that's
of
what it is.
etherealness, yes.
Yes.
Don't drink that.
Yeah, you don't
And
want to
I
drink
used
it.
Rub it all over yourself. And it makes you enter the astral plane for a certain amount of time.
The reason I mentioned that one specifically is because it is
The
a
ethereal plane?
very, very powerful and potentially it could end up being either a get out of or into jail free card, right? So it's a very powerful item, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how you use it. Qual's feather tokens are neat, but the ability to make a giant tree is, I mean, it's fun, but it's not like amazing. But the potion, I'm really a big fan of. Kisra went ahead and tossed a coin to the PCs, so I'll make sure to add an extra 10 gold or 100 silver to the next parcel that's given. And use it for cooking. Yes, that's a great plan, Psychonthrope. All of your food will become just calorie-free. So
And slightly less tasty.
I think we did it. Do we have anything else that we need to talk about? Is there anybody who
I
needs...
have all sorts of weird bullshit that I need to talk about.
Yeah, what's going on?
Okay, so
I'll pull up your character.
species is a bit strange because there's
You're
the
doing weird stuff.
customization rules. The customization rules for 5th edition are just a little left of center. And I wanted to barter away some of my abilities in order to get a feat.
Right. Which abilities were you going to get rid of?
I was wondering if I could trash Fey Ancestry, which means that I would no longer have advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic will be able to put me to sleep now. And trance, which basically means that I have to sleep like a normal person.
And you wanted to exchange that for the Fey Touched feat?
Yes. I'm willing to drop
Yeah.
Keen Senses as well, if you want me
No,
to.
those two for the one feat I think is fair. It's a little outside the rules, but I don't care. I think it's great. I don't actually see your... did you already remove the...
I just removed the traits just now.
Got it. Excellent, because I don't see them now, and that concerned me. Okay.
I zooped them away.
Good. Okay, so what you did is you took the weird, I think it was Tasha's that has brand new rules on how to completely customize most of the character races, which I think is amazing.
You can trade like proficiencies for other proficiencies. You can change up.
You're a
like,
variant, Eladrin.
I'm super variant. I also wanted to verify that my my languages were okay. So I have Common and Elvish for being an elf. But I wanted to take Sylvan as a language because I'm Fey.
You're Eladrin. I'll allow it.
And I want to take Draconic because I was trained in wizard school.
Yeah, I'm down with that. And it'll also, I mean, it'll make you fit in better with the group as well on a meta level. So I think it's a good plan. Yes.
I always put Draconic on my like wizard or wizard adjacent characters because wizards.
Arcana. Yeah.
Arcana.
Now Hyacinth, and I'm going to switch over to my whiteboard really quick. Hyacinth, as I recall, had a +1 arrow, which is an uncommon consumable. And you had a common item that it was Mistweave.
Yes.
Both of those are still allowed. You can continue to have them if you want, or you can swap them out for other things. We also, Calder should probably talk a little bit about what all of your magical items, where they're going, because currently you have 4 attunement items on your person.
Yes,
Yeah.
I shed a couple of those. Well, I'm definitely keeping my shiny new sickle.
Yes, the
'cause
Sickle of
that
Warning.
thing is That thing is rad as hell.
Yeah, the Sickle of Warning, which you took off of Belak, allows you not only to get advantage on your initiative, which is amazing, but it also means that neither you nor your party can ever be taken by surprise as long as you are attuned to this sickle.
And I do have the Wand of Entangle, but is that one of the attuned ones?
Yes.
Because
It can only be attuned by a caster specifically.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like there isn't any of those here.
Yeah, what they're gonna do.
So the wand, the sickle, then I have my Bloodwell and my tattoo.
Right. Right, the Bloodwell Vial, which gives you +1 to your spell DC, and the Illuminator Tattoo, which you use to great effect during the Sunless Citadel.
Because it's just a fun, stupid magic item. But I can remove it, weirdly. I can choose to unattune and it just turns into a tattoo's needle.
Yeah. So what do you think?
So I can only, how many attune items can I have on my person?
3. You can attune up to 3 at once unless you're an artificer.
Okay. So I have to get rid of 1. And of the 3 items, the least useful is honestly the Illuminator's tattoo. It's a fun item, but it's ultimately situational.
I agree.
So I will gently
Yoink that off of you.
I'll gently yoink that out of my hand.
Excellent. And so that'll pretty much do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. All of that looks pretty fine. You've all been really great about making sure everyone gets stuff when necessary anyway, so that's all excellent. So, are there any other things that we need to talk about character building wise before we move on into actually like doing some playing and some role playing and stuff?
You wanted to give us an opportunity to earn money in downtime.
Oh yes, I did. That's true.
I also have one last thing. I'm trying to pick my second Eldritch Invocation, and I wanted to ask chat's opinion. So I'm between the Grasp of Hadar, which basically means that if I hit a creature with an Eldritch Blast on a turn, I can drag them 10 feet closer to me.
Get over here.
Or I could go with Improved Pact Weapon, which means my Pact Weapon is now a +1 attack and damage rolls, unless it's a magic weapon that's better than that. And I can make it a short bow, long bow, light crossbow, or heavy crossbow, in addition to various forms of bladed weapons.
That second one sounds real good.
Yeah.
Like we got another toss a coin, by the way, so that's 2. So yeah, they're both really good.
As a player, I would definitely probably say that the improved Hexblade is probably the way to go, because it's always better to have magical weapons than not, because you never know what you're going to fight.
You're not wrong, but I also know that I have cash that I could hypothetically potentially buy like a weapon that gives me a +1 bonus to something.
The utility of being able to switch between a melee and a ranged weapon and have it still be magical is also really cool.
Ooh.
Especially since I'm still going to have those magic arrows from Hyacinth. Which is why I'm thinking, but like, you know, the and then I drag a dude closer to, you know, hit
Very
them with my
cinematic.
sword without having to walk. Also a good idea. So
You
I
could make a
guess-
poll.
I'm making a poll.
Excellent.
But I figured I'd say it out loud first.
Yeah. So Jeff, you were talking a little bit. So there's a poll coming up, and let's talk. You might have to go into the mod view. So yes, if you want to spend some time earning some cash, let me know what is it that you're doing. We'll go bottom to top. Jeff, what's Calder doing in order to gain money other than just his stipend for being, you know, a noble?
I figure while he's home, he's probably participating in the game. He's probably playing politics, furthering the interests of his family, however that manifests, by, you know, doing his job, being charming and being scary as hell, and just leveraging his family's position in the courts by dint of his endless piles of charisma.
2 things. 1, Psychonthrope says, what are your other invocations?
My other invocation is an agonizing blast, so it does my charisma modifier to my damage with Eldritch Blast.
And Jeff, would you be so kind as to roll me a persuasion check with advantage? And that's going to that's going to sort of tell me how much money you make over the course of the year with your wheeling and dealing.
Let's take a look. I specifically peeled away from persuasion because I was overlapping with Hyacinth's interests. But so can I use deception instead?
Deception's fine, yeah.
Wait.
Deception would signify that you are being less than honest about how you are gaining this money. You're not just convincing people; you're more conning people.
Well, I could also do.
He's not an honest politician. Whatever are we going to do?
Oh, look at that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say that over the course of a year, you gain. Wow, out of 24, I'll give you a gold a day. So we'll call it 365 gold pieces added to your sheet. I think that's absolutely appropriate for the level of wheeling and dealing that you've done over the past year. Other folks who want to make money or do anything else over downtime?
I had one character-specific question.
What's that?
About a spell. So, the audience doesn't know this yet, but my new character, Charlotte, is blind. And as such, I have to be very particular on what spells she takes, because there are plenty of spells in D&D that don't require sight, but you have to pick those specific spells. And the one spell I wanted clarification on was Detect Magic.
I'm looking it up. Let's see. Spells, Detect Magic. It's a level 1 spell, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object that bears magic, and you learn its school. It doesn't say that you are seeing the presence of magic. It does talk about seeing auras, but that is much later in the spell description. The fact that they specifically use the word sense instead of the word see tells me that you should be able to use it no problem. You will still be able to determine what is magical and what is its school of magic.
All right. So, but the delineation there is about the target has to be a visible creature or object. It just has to be visible, not necessarily that my character has to be able to see it.
Yes,
okay.
It just has to be visible.
It can be cloaked.
Yes. Okay. This is actually a well-written spell in my opinion. It does specifically say so long as it is a visible creature. Because if it's invisible, it still becomes invisible to detect magic as well.
Yeah, you need the special C invisibility for that.
Yeah, otherwise invisibility would be useless. So yes, so that's detect magic. Clarion, did you have anything over the year? Any other clarifications?
I mean, Clarion would be playing music and doing.
Do you want to roll me a performance check with advantage and try not to do as badly as you did the first time I asked you to do that?
No, I have that terror. Oh God. Like, should I do this at all? Okay. Performance. Advantage.
Nice.
And roll. Did that?
You got to roll it into the chat, unfortunately. If you roll it...
I did!
Did you? It happens sometimes.
It just didn't like me!
The technology sometimes just doesn't like... And it really sucks if you end up like rolling a 20 or something and I don't get to see it. One of those was a 1. Oh no, it was a 13. Never mind, I lied. Wow, you also got a... Oh, you got a 19. Yeah, one of those was a 1, so you're very glad that you got that advantage. With a 19... I will say that you get somewhat less than 1 gold a day, but you are able to go and play some of the more popular venues, and I will give you a bonus of 250 gold pieces to your sheet.
See, it's not my fault. I'm tired from the baby. But yeah. That one was like the one really crappy performance I did, like 2 weeks after the baby was born. I'm like, I can't, like, cancel. All right, she said 250, right?
Just add it right into that gold pieces slot in your sheet. And if it doesn't actually say GP, you can type in GP and then put in 1,000. Or not 1,000, 250. Not 1,000, not 1,000. Anything else?
Excuse me.
How are we doing?
I think that with my shiny new income, I'm definitely going to be upgrading my transport, but that's about it.
Good stuff. I trust you to buy things within your means and not, be horrible people. I believe in all of you. I trust all of you.
It's worked. I mean,
I don't even remember how much money this character has, so I haven't touched that yet because
I will.
fine.
I will have the mule that I purchased and named after my older brother rendered into glue.
No.
I am not a fan of my older brother.
Or your mule, apparently.
you while looking at him.
Prettyfoot, I absolutely adore beyond reason, but Alton was an asshole, so he can die.
He's lived his life.
Prettyfoot is the metaphorical glue that binds the party.
And also the mule.
Yes, I did not upgrade my. Oh God,
All right.
upgrade.
I'm
Prettyfoot would
I'm
bite
gonna-
me if I ever dared.
But you might have upgraded your saddle for Prettyfoot.
Oh, I'm sure I updated my saddle and made it even more fantastic and stuff. But yeah, Prettyfoot would bite me if I ever even dared.
I'm going to go ahead and roll things right along. Do we have any last minute questions, comments, concerns, anything before we start the session proper?
I spent all of Echo's money on very expensive spell components. Let's do this.
I like I said before, I'm not entirely sure exactly how much money this character had because brain. What?
Hold on, let me.
Because I have quick and dirties that I can do.
Yeah,
for the sake of starting.
I'm taking a look at Hyacinth's sheet, which is still on here.
Yep.
And Hyacinth has
Packed
551 gold and 32 gold because apparently we put it in two different ways. But you've got about 580 gold and a smattering of silver and copper on your sheet.
Oh, excellent.
And you don't have to spend it now. Like we can do that between now and next time. It's fine. We're unlikely to get more than one encounter done today anyway. Although we're making excellent time so far.
Yeah, let's see. So you about 580, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, give me 4 seconds.
Oh yeah, other interesting character creation note. Because my character is blind, I chose to make her a human variant, and I took the alert feat, so she doesn't automatically grant advantage to opponents she can't see.
That
Just
is
something to make it more mechanically viable.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so we've got Calder and Clarion already in. We're gonna put Charlotte and Meepo and Swoops the Bat. And is that everybody? Calder? No, Lore still needs to go in. And Lore. Excellent. Okay. So we should be good. I'm opening the party sheet just to be able to see. Main. I'm taking Barnabas out. I'm taking Echo out. I'm taking Hyacinth out. And we are inserting Meepo, Charlotte,
Out with the old, in with the new.
And some of the old. Okay, I think we are more or less all set mechanically. So let's talk a little bit about how all of you, what all of you are doing.